Okay, welcome back to another Play and Explain. We've got four tables of WPT up, and this is 2-5-10 with a $2 straddle. I know it plays in Chinese yuan and it can be kind of confusing, but that's effectively what it is. Sorry, what did I say? Yeah, it's 2-5-10 with a $2 ante, is what I meant to say. Setting up four tables of regular tables is much more of a pain in the ass than two tables of Zoom, but hopefully this recording works out. Here after we open 4-5 suited, facing the 3-bet, just going to make a standard defend. Stuff gets a little bit wider in ante-games. But here with just the 5 high nothing, we can let it go. It doesn't get that wide. Here with the ace 7 suited, raising sometimes, calling this time. Having to play more calls pre-flop than normal. So the biggest difference between straddle ante and regular is that you have to do a lot more calling pre-flop. You're playing a lot more loose. So a lot of cold calling on the button, a lot of cold calling in the small blind, a lot of cold calling in the big blind. A decent amount of open limping too in the blinds. Stuff like this, just calling the king nine off. I'm pretty sure it's fine. Big blind versus small blind here. Just gonna keep checking. Um, Roll a really high number, so I'm gonna start stabbing. And continue barreling the turn. Just basically repping a flush here. Getting him to fold random pairs, random ace highs. Get it through. Defending the big blind much wider here with the antes in play, but not this wide, I think. I'm not perfectly familiar with these ranges, if I'm being honest, having learned them myself recently. So, very real chance I make a couple mistakes. I'm just going to come along and call the tens here. I expect this guy to be jamming stuff like ace king very often. Yeah, he should be jamming very wide, just getting the sense that I'm capped. And unfortunately, we don't get there. We don't get there. Unfortunate. One thing I hate about this site is that when you lose a stack, they kind of add salt on the wound and make you post up blind afterwards, which fucking sucks. What happened here? Shit, I should have called that one. Yeah, got distracted by the action here and made a mistake on the top left. That's okay. New site, new format. Some mistakes are about to happen. That's okay. That is just part of the game. Here I'm going to peel one, given that everything's so small. And 3-betting the ace-king here, just for the size. Continue here with a call. Raising would be very much an overplay, given there's two opponents. And I'm actually gonna check this one back. It seems a little bit tight, but yeah. When this guy bets the turn three ways, he's actually repping very polar. He's already basically saying he has two pair or better or a bluff. And so if he's repping two pair or better or a bluff on the turn, you don't really get called by worse. He either has a bluff on the turn and just folds to your river stab, or he has a belly hand and you just get owned. Very small bet here. Just try to get this guy to fold his air. No diamond. Just be checking back, I think. Uh, and once we get to the river, I don't think we're ever good here. So I'm just gonna bluff and try to make him fold his low pairs, like sixes with a diamond. Calls with the queen. Reasonable. Hoping someone sits me here on the top left. This. What the fuck happened here? Okay. Went limp, limp, limp. He opens. Okay, I'm yeah, just gonna three bet. I have no idea what a proper three bet range here looks like, but with the suited ace, it can't be too bad. I expect him to be isolating relatively wide against two limpers, and that gives us the opportunity to kind of widen up the range ourselves and punish him. Yeah, a lot going on with these regular tables. Um, I like the fact that I really like the fact that they've done the straddle ante format. It's a format where kind of everyone's in the dark. Regular six max is a lot of people are familiar with it. A lot of people know the pre-flop stuff and the flop stuff like the back of their hand. So it doesn't how should I say? It doesn't like there's not as much room for creativity and people making mistakes. But when you throw people into a completely different format, people that don't know as well, it gives people the room to make errors. And fundamentally, that's what leads to good games. That's what leads to action. People making mistakes is what leads to the games being profitable. If you don't give people the room to make mistakes, games get bad. So in that regard, I really think WPT is doing a good job. It also helps that my win rate has been pretty good on here ever since I got on. That's helped. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff like this. Just because ranges are so wide and people are so shallow, sometimes you just get like weird all-ins. Here, once we check back the five, definitely going to be calling it. Once we check back the five, it's actually pretty near the top of our range. If we had a better hand on the turn, if we had an overpair or anything, we would be barreling. So when we check back, we're actually extremely capped, and we just have to kind of call the five. It's one of our better bluff catchers. Versus this raise here. Normally, I would three bet Queen Jack suited, but the raise is a little too shallow for me to three bet. If I three bet and he jams on, it's kind of sad. So I'm just gonna go with the call. Otherwise, if we were deeper, I would 100% three bet. And just folding with the Queen High nothing. Hands like this, defending, just with the better odds, with the antes. And something like Queen 9 would be raising sometimes, calling sometimes, gonna raise this time. Here versus small bet, we'd raise sometime, but versus big bet, we just kind of have to call. When he bets big, he's just repping very polar. He's saying he has an overpair or nothing. Not sure what to make of this small bet on the turn. Um, Very suspicious of this small bet. And once we river this holding, it just doesn't matter. We're just calling down no matter what. Yeah, yeah. Suspicious bet on the turn with the fives. Ace jack off here, I'm pretty sure it's just a fold. In regular six max, it's a fold. I think here versus under the gun open, I can just fold it. I could be wrong about this though. Calling here with the check raise. Um, Not thrilled, but also never folding. Yeah, I expect him to have just a straight or a set or a better two pair sometimes, but yeah, this hand's just too strong and we can't let it go. Oh, nice, he has a bluff this time. Cool. And we hold. Perfect. Yeah, yeah, always an L when you lose a stack and you have to post a blind the next hand. The site kind of makes you do that, and it's not great, but whatever. Yeah, if I'm a little less talkative, display and explain, it's because I am trying to juggle these tables. I am way less familiar with all the ranges. Much, much, much less familiar. So I am probably making a lot of mistakes and I'm thinking extra hard trying to remember stuff. I've been playing normal six max a long time now, and in normal six max, I basically know everything like the back of my hand, but not in this. Oh, perfect. We gotta see here. Okay, this guy is actually a huge whale. This guy here. So we're very happy that he's the one sitting. Huge, huge, huge degen. Really, really love this is the guy sitting. So we raise, check, see bet the flop, and after he calls once, there's no further value to be extracted with our pocket jacks. We'll just be valuing owner ourselves a lot. So just gonna check and check call. Never folding versus this guy. So good luck us. We'll be calling down no matter what. Yeah, a lot of times he just has some random garbage. Going to overlimp here with the queen six off. I know we have a complete Garbo hand, but it's 25 yuan to win a potential pot of 200 or something. Like it's just 1 in 10 times we have to check down or something has to happen. And yeah, 1 in 10 is not that much. If you only once here versus the third pot with the gutter, everyone's very capped because the pot limped around. So there's a lot of potential to take away another street. But versus double barrel, just nothing else we can do. Here's a bomb pot, bottom left. Flopping top two was a good start. But when you're out of position to this many people, when there's this many people behind, when there's like 5 people behind, you're just checking a lot. Even with nutted hands, you're just checking a lot and trying to play a strategy of check raise or check fold, basically. I mean, of course, some check call it. Versus the bet and the raise, when it gets to us, I'm just gonna shove with the stack depths. If it were deeper, if we were a lot deeper, I wouldn't. But I would probably just look to call or something. But yeah, with the stack depths and top two and in a bomb pot, it's just yeah, you just put it in and just kind of cross your fingers. Let's go gambling. Let's go gambling. Okay, we got some flush draw and aces. Cool. We have the best hand. Let's see if we can hold. Oh, great. We have the worst hand on the turn. Nice. Gotta love bomb pots. Up against backdoor quads. Backdoor quads. This site does a little bonus where if you hit quads or something, they give you a jackpot. It's kind of nice. Okay, here, if it were just heads up, I'd look to call, but with this, with more people, it gets worse calling. This shove is just fold. Yeah. Yeah, one thing about the site is you have to deal with really, really big swings. When I first got onto this site, I I lost probably 40 grand in the span of maybe a week and a half. That wasn't fun, but we made it back, so it's fine. It's just you're just like all in a lot, and a lot of times you just have to like pucker your ass and just run the equities, and it's just like it's almost like you're dealing with the variance of PLO, but you're playing Hold'em. Fun time, fun time. It's really really fun when things go your way, but you just have to be okay with things sometimes not going your way. Like in the bottom left there, we had top two, but really with top two against those two other holdings, we only have what 50% equity. I don't know. This guy limps and jams. Okay, just gonna let this one go. If I had a slightly stronger ace, I would consider calling. I expect this top left table to die, but we're just gonna keep playing until something happens. Facing three bets, eights, very very standard call. Nothing to do here but call and play post flop. It's actually a decent board. It's about as decent as a board can get without actually hitting an 8. We really just don't want to see any Broadway cards, so going to be continuing. Kind of nice here. Important to make note of our suits. Here, having no spade is actually good because we can ping the 8 of spades and kind of cooler a flush. Whereas if the board was a pair, then the spade would be better because we just have more equity. Checking back. So this is a horrible board for us. He has the king of spades advantage because he has hands like pocket kings with a spade, king queen with a spade. He has a lot more king of spades combos, and yeah, it's good that he recognizes that and goes ahead for the jam. There's nothing we can do here. We just have to let it go. People always say, "Oh, Kevin, you're always all in every hand. Do you ever fold?" It's like, yes, of course I fold, but most folds are just quite unremarkable. Um, the game isn't comprised of you making a bunch of hero folds. Like a lot of times when you have a pretty good hand and your opponent has a better hand, you just have to stick it in and get cooler. Like that's okay. That's okay. Raising here because this is a very good board for our range. We have 3 high and some equity. Checking our nut flush draw. Hmm. How do we feel about this turn? I think still reasonably happy. If I had oh fuck. Okay. Oh god, I thought I timed out a check there. Good. Yeah, wanted to bet. Um, yeah, like if we had a straight or a flush or whatever, or sorry, a straight or a set or boat, we would just be barreling. But now that we hit the pair, I can just check. Nice. Nice, nice. Love to see that. Love to see that. This guy's fucking out to lunch. He should be bluffing his hand. I have no idea what the fuck he's on. But yeah, don't be that guy. You have like you have king high there, man. Like your hand's never good. Am I up or am I down this session? Pretty sure I'm down. Pretty sure I'm down, but it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Versus 3-bet, this is just not the hand we want to be defending with. Steph gets much more loose heads up again. Um, I see a lot of people who try to play heads up despite never having studied heads up. Don't do that. If you've never done some sort of study into heads up, you're just gonna get wrecked. Heads up play is super wide and super loose, and you're just gonna get punished if you don't appreciate that. After flop goes check check, our hand is quite strong. So just going to check call. And this is kind of what I mean, just because ranges are so wide, heads up, people are wide and weak. I'm gonna have to do a lot more weak calling. Yeah. Yeah, that might seem like a loose call, but I assure you heads up, it's not a loose call. It's just a very standard call. Our friend Mr. Degen is back. That's good. This guy used to play pretty higher stakes, but I think he busted out a lot of his money and now he's playing lower stakes. It's gonna come along and hope to flop a deuce. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Life is good. Life is good. No sense in raising here at all. Um, just going to come along. Yeah, calling. And we'll be jamming the river against a triple barrel. You might ask what bluffs we do this with. It's a good question. We want something that blocks sets in two pair. Something like a queen. Like if we had a queen blocker, it would be good. So something like Queen X of Hearts would be a really good bluff jam, or something like 8X of Hearts. Basically something that blocks sets and two pairs. Ideally something that blocks top two pair. But it is a very, very underbluffed line from most players in general. So in his position, he should be folding. What the fuck happened here? Okay, I don't fucking know what happened here. What the fuck happened here? I don't know, but we have two pair and it's kind of reasonable, and so we're just all in. Yeah, I don't fucking know what happened here. Okay, two pair up against a set, I guess. Sure. Check calling here because we're on the shallow side. I honestly probably should have c-bet the flop, except I kind of brain farted and now we're in this weird spot. Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna fuck this one up more. But yeah, that's not a good board for us. Like the low 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 board, or sorry, like the mid lane connected board is not a good board for us after we raise pre-flop. All the hands that villain calls there have some sort of connectivity with those low cards. So check calling here once with the ace of clubs. I'm calling 10-9 here. It's 3-bet. After it goes check check, when this guy's this short, I'm just gonna jam. Repping strong hands. Repping a flush, repping a straight, etc. Peeling this one. Backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. Top left. When he checks, going to just start bluffing. And get it through. 7-4 off's just a fold. And 8 on off here, very standard defend. Just defending. Once turn goes check check, this hand is a really, really good overbet turn. Super polar. We have good blockers to the clubs and the diamonds, and we have a little bit of equity in the form of the gut shot. And hands that are netted for us will want to overbet stuff like straights. Yeah, some stuff like straights and sets and whatnot. And once the diamond comes in and we have the diamond interaction, just going to follow through with a bet. Our straights and sets would want to follow through. And they would want to bet for that sizing as well. Raise this one a little bigger. Yeah, definitely my play in this format is not as refined as regular 6 max. I'm definitely going to be making a ton of mistakes all over the place. Really, really not pretending it's perfect. Yeah, truth be told, there's just a lot going on. There's just a lot going on. Heads up, full ring. But yeah, this would probably play very close to your average live game with the straddles. No, fuck, man, I have no clue if this is a defend versus that size, but sure. Seven three off. Folding. Opening ace five of clubs. Okay, so we're coming up on 30 minutes, so I'm probably going to play another orbit and sit out. Three ways here, betting or checking is both fine. I'm gonna check back this time. Once we check back, can't be fully in the turn though. It gets a bet and a call. It gets really close. I'm going to peel once, but if anybody even breathes on the pot, like takes a breath on the pot on the river, I'm just fucking out of here. If anyone blows in the pot here, I'm just out. So out. Please be good. Okay, chop the pot. Sure. So in bomb pots, when you flop holdings like this middle pair, believe it or not, they actually make very decent raises. The reason is that with this many people, your middle pair is pretty worthless as a call. You're just not happy calling it. But it becomes a decent check raise bluff. Now, I'm not going to raise it into like this many people. Like I think that's pretty suicidal, and especially when this guy's short. But if it were just one guy, I would potentially consider raising it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Three betting the suited ace. Suited ace is very, very nutted heads up. Heads up once we three bet and we get this double Broadway board, want to be c-betting for big. It's just such a crushing board for our range. Heads up. But once he calls, I think our hand just has to check, especially the ace high. Locate a barrel, flush draw, gutter, something with a club. This hand fits none of those categories. And checking stuff like two pairs and sets as well to defend that range. The bottom pair, gonna check this. Hope it checks through. Okay, we are not good versus the queen. This is a call heads up. I think it's close. I don't know. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this one up and just sit out. I will play these last two hands and then kind of call it. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Going to play this hand here on the top left. Once the flop goes check check, I think our hand has decent potential to stab the turn. Get it through. Okay, cool. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week.